You know, over the past few months, I've been talking about these lenses from REEFLEX. They're called the G-Series lenses for the iPhone system. They also have iOS apps. I thought what I would do is kind of give you an overall buyer's guide on my real-world usage on these lenses over the past few months, things that I like, and in terms of the app performance, things that you should look out for, things that I really like. So with that, let's jump into it. So the lens that I would recommend most, if you were to get one lens from REEFLEX, what would that be? For me, it's this 240mm lens right here. Because it's very small compact, the glass, the optics, out of all the REEFLEX lenses is fantastic. It's premium grade optics out of these. I mean, again, it's hard to compare it to say full frame or APS-C or micro four thirds lenses. It's a different ballgame altogether. But it does enhance the image quality coming out of the camera system, out of the iPhone 17 Pro Max, which I'm using, right? It really does a fantastic job. And this lens is extremely compact for what you get. It's 240mm, and that's optical quality, mind you. That's not digital enhancement, that's optical. Then obviously if you go 2 times, you get even further. And that makes it a very, very interesting setup. Because for me, I went to a Rugby Sevens match, and I took this with me. And you know, when you go to, let's say, a professional sporting event, you can't always bring your, let's say, your big camera setups because they don't allow it. Usually that's designated for media. But with something like this, I pop it in my pocket, nobody has a clue, screw it onto the phone, and I'm really getting really good photos out of this. Now, again, it's not gonna be the same image quality as a full-frame mirrorless camera system. Let's be realistic here, but they're good enough to post on social media, and they're good enough to share with friends and loved ones, and you're getting a lot of detail. But that brings us into the REEFLEX camera app where this pairs to. Now, the REEFLEX camera app is really designed for ultimate image quality, not really designed for speed. And that would be one of the things I wish was improved on the app. But the app is really great for focus peaking. It's very good for if you want to do raw images, TIFF images, Pro RAW, really maximizing the utmost out of this lens and the camera system. Now, what the great thing about these lenses is they're not proprietary to an app. So case in point, I can use this on the Moment camera app. I can use it on the native iPhone camera app. I can use it on the PGY10 camera app. And I can still get really good images. I can shoot in JPEG, TIFF, Pro RAW, whatever have you, and it'll work because it's all about the optics. And I think what REEFLEX has done is give us that option. But again, if you're doing, let's say, macro photography, which we'll talk about later on this video, the REEFLEX camera app is fantastic for focus peaking, so you can really nail critical focus. And that's one of the benefits for me personally. But when it comes to fast action, I would say try another camera app, up the shutter speed, and you'll get some of those fast action shots. And then I went to the zoo again recently, and I was just trying it out there, and I got some really good shots of the lion and these other animals there at the zoo that are beautiful. Now, again, it's not going to be the fastest system, but if you're in an area or in an environment where you don't need super fast action, burst modes of 15, 20 frames per second, this will be fine for you. So just keep that in mind in terms of just, you know, real world expectations. All right, so another lens that I recommend is this 2x telephoto lens. And this is gonna go on the main camera as opposed with the 240mm that goes on the telephoto lens. Now, the one thing I like about it is the optics. It really does enhance the sharpness, and it gives you obviously 2 times more reach, which if you want a little bit more compression, you wanna capture a little bit more of that isolation for your subjects, this is a very good lens. The one downside is it's big. And one thing I do like that REEFLEX has done is they've given us magnetic caps so you can pop that on the front of it here and it protects it, but you can't pop this in your pocket. So if you're walking around on the go, you're gonna be constantly screwing this thing off and on. Well, like, same with the 240mm lens, but this thing is very heavy and you feel it, but it does have very good image quality. So I'm kind of torn. The size is a little bit too big for me, but I also appreciate the optics coming out of it. And I know some of you actually have purchased this lens and told me that you really like the image quality, and I agree. It's really, really nice, and it enhances what's already really good on the iPhone 17 Pro and Pro Max. Now let's move on to the 110-degree wide-angle lens. Now, I'm not a big wide-angle shooter, so this is not a lens that I really use a lot. If you are someone that likes to capture landscapes and you want that wide-angle view, but you want higher resolution, you want to use that main camera, that's what this lens is for. Now, this might not be an everyday lens, and most of these are not going to be everyday lenses, mind you. The 2x telephoto you probably could use most times, but the rest of them are going to be as and when. But this is very nice because usually on wide-angle lenses on smartphones, the resolution drops. It's not as good as the main camera or even now the telephoto camera system. But this changes that because you're mounting it to the main camera, but you're getting a wide angle view. And it's very, very detailed and it's beautiful. I mean, I just took a sample shot here, kind of right by the Esplanade area here in Singapore. This is the Fullerton Hotel. And as you can tell, the image is nice. It's got nice detail to it. But again, it's a larger lens. And that's the one thing I'm gonna say about all this stuff is that you're gonna need a little bit of a carrying case like I got here to carry this stuff, or a little bit of a backpack or pop into your pocket, depending on how you wanna go. If you wanna carry multiple lenses, you're gonna need something, right? And I know REEFLEX makes a bag as well, but yeah, it's big, but again, the optics out of this are really good. So I would put this in the very similar categories, the 2x telephoto. Nice to have. Would you use it all the time? Probably not, depending on your photography needs or video needs, but it definitely does give you an optical edge over the native wide-angle camera that's in the iPhone system. So let's talk about this fisheye lens for a second. It's a very good lens. Was in Chinatown during Lunar New Year celebrations, just walking around the streets, and I just want to capture sort of the ambiance with this fisheye look. And it was really cool how it turned out. I was pleasantly surprised, and what was in focus was sharp. So again, this is much more of a creative lens, not an everyday lens. So maybe something you want to pick up just to use as and when, but it's good. Another lens I want to talk about is the Anamorphic 1.33 times lens. Now, I tried this lens in Chinatown over this, the Lunar New Year celebrations. It's really good optics. Obviously, you're going to see a little bit of distortion as you get with any anamorphic, but it's a blue flare lens, not a neutral flare. It'd be nice if REEFLEX in the future offers us an option of going like a silver, neutral flare, or blue flare, so we can have that choice. So let's talk about the macro lens that I think is worth picking up. It's a 10 times long range macro for the iPhone. Now, this is gonna be ideal. Let's say you wanna do watch photography or like close-ups of products with your smartphone, but you don't wanna get it so close to where it's blocking the light. They have another one like that where it just doesn't really work. It's a 10 times macro, but you have to get it so close to the lens that it blocks the light. It's not worth it. This one makes a lot of sense because you have enough distance. The same with the 200mm and 300mm macro adapters on the 240mm lens. This is gonna be a lot easier to use, and you pop this onto the main camera sensor and it gets you some really good images. Now, I was taking some shots of these watches, just trying it out for an upcoming review, and I was pleasantly surprised by the detail, the sharpness, the clarity, shooting at RAW, Pro RAW, TIFF, whatever have you. This is a really nice lens for that. And if you lock it onto the tripod and on also the iPhone mount that REEFLEX has, which by the way are really good, very well made. The iPhone mount is made of metal, very secure. You're gonna really like what this lens does for macro. Again, it's not gonna be for everybody out there, but I think for those who want that kind of close-up on certain subjects, you can appreciate it, especially on a tripod. This makes a lot of sense. And that's where the REEFLEX app to me comes into play, because the REEFLEX app, as I mentioned earlier, is a little bit slower to process, but it's got very good focus peaking. And on macro photography and video, you need that focus peaking to make sure that your shot is in focus, because it can be a bit challenging at times. And that app is absolutely fantastic when matched to this lens, so I'd highly recommend that. Another piece that you may like here is this 1.5 to 5 stop VND system from REEFLEX. Now, I actually used this in an interview when I was doing to interview Eddie Q from Apple a few months back, and this worked very, very well on the iPhone, by the way. So again, highly recommend something like this. You can pop it onto your normal camera system at 67mm, just screw it on, or you can adapt it, anamorphic, onto the main cameras on the back here. You can screw it on with the adapter, so you have a lot of flexibility, but this can be fantastic for videographers out there. And there's no color shift. It's done really, really well. Very good optics out of this. So this is something that I would say, for the price point, you want something small, compact, pick this one up. Also, to talk about the iPhone case, as I mentioned in another video as well, this is a really good case. And they have obviously different materials as well. This is the leather one, very, very well made. The housing here is secure, so it's gonna hold all the lenses nicely. It's metal. REEFLEX has done a really nice job. And I think out of a lot of the phone accessory brands that I've worked with, trying out on different iPhones over the years, REEFLEX has really impressed me. And I'm not just saying that because I've worked with them, but it's true. I don't take on projects or take on videos like this unless I believe in the products. And the optics come out of these lenses and the way they perform surpass my expectations, which is a good thing. These products are not going to be for everyday photography. I understand that. But it's about accentuating what you have in your pocket and capturing moments that you necessarily wouldn't be able to do with the normal camera systems here. And that's why there's all these accessories out there in the market. And I think what Reflex has done optically with their G-Series lenses is awesome. I can't wait to try their 75 macro, their new macro they just came out with. That to me looks really, really exciting because I do like macro photography, and paired with the app and the focus peaking and the fantastic image quality, that could be a stellar setup. Anyway, guys, those are my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Is this something that you're looking to pick up? Or which lenses would you buy if you had the opportunity? Let me know. Like always, like, subscribe. Thank you for the support, greatly appreciate it. And I'll chat to you all very, very soon.